be for you while you're watching this, or if you're watching it now, good night, afternoon. I really don't know where I am in the day. Um, 7:30 could be night, could be afternoon. I don't know. I guess it's all up to personal preference. Um, Tonight we're going to talk about Jesus. We try to do that most weeks, but tonight we're going to talk about Jesus, and I actually titled this one for you. It's a lost and found, and I'm going to talk about essentially losing things tonight. Um, if you're anything like me, you're probably super good at losing things like your keys or the remote or your phone or a pen. I'm really good at losing things. And I'm sure you guys have all probably lost something before as well. Um, I mean, sometimes we like to lose our keys in our truck and then lock the door on them, and stuff like that happens. But when we lose things, what I found out about lost objects is that every time you find them, they were always exactly where they got left. So if I lose my keys and they're in the crack on the couch, when I find them, they're still in that crack on the couch. If I lose my phone and it's like under a pillow, under something, when I find it again, it's still there. When I lose my pen, they're still wherever I lost them because I haven't found them yet. But what we see in life is that every time we lose something, no matter what it may be, we always find that thing that we lost is always exactly where we lost it or left it at. Um, and sometimes in life we lose things other than just physical things like phones and pens and keys and wallets. Sometimes we look and that to a certain degree we've lost our relationship with. I think it was weird. Did this just go out? It's back now. I don't know. Sorry, maybe I'm just going crazy. But sometimes, we lose physical things in our life, but we also, go through times and phases where we lose our relationship with Jesus, and we lose it from being as strong as what it once was. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about tonight. And sometimes we want to blame things for why we're not is in tune to our relationship with Jesus. Sometimes we want to blame, well, I'm really busy at school, or I got this sport going on, or I was hanging out with my friends, or whatever, and we want to blame these things for why our relationship with Jesus isn't what it should be. But in reality, I don't think it's fair of us for us to blame those things for us losing our relationship with Jesus. I don't think it's fair for me to say that it wouldn't be fair of me to say my relationship with Jesus isn't as good as it should be because I work 6 days a week. That's not fair for me to do. It's not fair for me to blame my struggles and my shortcomings with my relationship on things that I have. So with that being said, so what is the real cause for us to lose the strength that we had in our relationship with Christ? We're going to go to the book of Matthew real quick. This is chapter 16, verse 24. Then Jesus said to his disciples, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me." So one thing that we see here that we have to do if we're going to follow Jesus, if we're going to be a Christian, if we've said, you know what, I'm accepting Jesus, I'm going to follow Jesus, I'm going to be a Christian, I'm going to do this thing with my life, then we have to pick up our cross and follow him daily. We have to make a daily decision, a conscious decision every single day that when I wake up and when I go throughout my day, when I go to school, when I go to work, when I go to whatever I'm doing, whatever sport or whatever activity or hanging out with whoever, I'm going to be an example of Christ. I'm going to be a Christian. I'm going to follow God through that. Um, a little bit further in there, so still in Matthew chapter 16, verses 25 and 26. For whoever wants to save their life will lose it, but whoever loses their life for me will find it. What good will it be for someone to gain the whole world, yet forfeit their soul? Or what can anyone give in exchange for their soul? Again, it just continues talking about how we have to give our all to Jesus. How if I want to have a true, good, deep, strong, firm foundation of my relationship with Christ, then I have to make that decision. I have to consciously choose that. I have to make the decision that I'm going to give everything I am and everything about me to Jesus, that I'm going to follow him, that I'm going to love God, that I'm going to worship him, that I'm going to do everything right. So with that being said, so what is the real cause for us to lose the strength in our relationship with Christ? And to put it in simple terms, the reason that your relationship with Jesus falls back and loses strength, or the reason that mine would, or the reason anyone's, is because we choose to. Is that we choose that. It's that when we come to church, or when we go and we pray, when we finish praying or we leave church, we leave Jesus wherever we did that at. You know, if you wake up and pray on Monday morning, but then you don't ever talk to Jesus, or you don't ever read your Bible, or you don't do anything the rest of your week, the reason that it feels like he's not there with you on Friday isn't because he just up and left you. It's because you left him on Monday and never talked to him again. If you had a friend that you just randomly talked to, that you never talked to, that you never spoke to, it's not their fault that you don't have a good relationship if you don't make an effort. If I'm going, let's say there's a party on a Friday night. Somebody's having, a good old get together to watch the Packers play football or something. And we're all going, and there's a group of people coming, and everybody from the church is going to be there. And me and Pastor Donnie and Michael and Melissa and Pastor Cindy, we're all going to be there. But we don't invite Zach. Nobody says anything to Zach about it. Nobody calls Zach. Nobody texts Zach. Nobody ever tells Zach that it's happening. It is not Zach's fault that he is not there. It is our fault that Zach is not there because we didn't make the effort to invite him. We didn't go through the effort to let him know that it was going on. We didn't say, hey, Zach, come with us. Hey, Zach, we're doing this. Hey, Zach, this is happening on this day. Can you be there? We'd love for you to be there. If we don't invite him and we don't let him know it's happening and we keep it a secret from him, it's not his fault that he's not there when it happened. It's our fault because we didn't invite him in. In the same way, I know we go through times in life where it feels like God's not there with us and it feels like we're on our own. And, my generation especially, and those younger than me and a little bit older than me, we really want to just be like, well, it's God's fault. He let it happen to me. God's not there for me. God's not with me. When in reality, and we want to blame our struggles and our hurts and our pains on God and him not being there with us. But the reality of it is he's not there with us because we didn't invite him to come with us. He's not there with us in the bad times because the reality of it is we probably didn't even notice that he wasn't there because things were rocking along pretty good and things seemed all right. So we didn't even notice that he wasn't there because things were going okay. And we only noticed that he wasn't there because things got bad. So are we really seeking God for a relationship with him because we care about him and because we love him and because we want to get to know him? Or do we just care because of what he can do for us when things are bad or when things aren't going right? We're going to look in the book of Luke, the 2nd chapter. I'm going to start in the 43rd verse. After the festival was over, while his parents were returning home, the boy Jesus stayed behind in Jerusalem. But they were unaware of it. Thinking he was in their company, they traveled on for a day without him. Jesus' own parents, like physical earthly parents, went a day traveling down the road without noticing he was there. Then they began looking for him among their relatives and their friends. Same thing we do when we're going through life and something happens. We look to our friends and our family for answers through stuff. When they did not find him, they went back to Jerusalem to look for him. After 3 days, they found him in the temple courts, sitting among the teachers, listening to them and asking them questions. Everyone who heard him was amazed at his understanding and his answers. When his parents saw him, they were astonished. His mother said to him, "Son, why have you treated us like this? Your father and I have been anxiously searching for you." "Why were you searching for me?" he asked. Didn't you know I had to be in my father's house?" when we're going through things in life and we're going about it on our merry way, and we're just doing us, and we're not inviting Jesus along with us, and we're not inviting God into our life to be a part of it, it's not God's fault when he's not there, it's ours. Jesus is always going to be in the Father's house. Jesus is going to be at the right hand of the Father. If we're not making an effort to get to the Father, if we're not making an effort to get to them and to be where he is, if we're not following and going where he's going, and we're following and going where we want to go, again, it's on us at those times when we feel like God's not in our life. There's an old Christian song, man. I can't even remember what it is. It's from like the 90s or something. It's probably older than me. But one of the lines in it says, man, I can't remember it verbatim, but basically it says, Jesus, I need you to be my steering wheel, not just my spare tire. And as Christians, I feel like we're really good at wanting a relationship with Jesus that just involves him being our spare tire, that just involves him being there if something goes wrong and we're stuck on the side of the road and we got a flat, but we can just, take that part off, put that spare tire on, and keep going. And I feel like that's the Christianity, the relationship with God that we as a church, as a church nationwide, have settled for. And we wonder why we see things happening the way we do in the world with pain and hurt and heartache and suffering and all these things. And we wonder why it's like God's not there with us sometimes. And the reality of it is it's because we've moved on and left him, and he's not there because we chose for him not to be there. It's because we've settled for a relationship with God of hey, man, I'm stuck. Can you get me out of it? And then as soon as you're unstuck, all right, hey, see ya. Call you next time I need you. If we had a friend that treated us like that, we wouldn't really want to stick around with them. I'm sure everybody has had that friendship, that relationship that they felt like they were the one putting in all the effort. They were always the one reaching out to the other person. They were always the one trying to make the plans. They were always the one that was there for that person. But then as soon as something happened in that person's life and you were there for them and you got them through the hard times, then things were good. They went back and they were hanging out with other people again. And we all can think of a time in our life where we probably felt that way, and we probably went through that, and we understood the hurt and the pain that can cause someone. Yet knowing that and living through that and feeling that, we still continue to do the same thing to God. But the beautiful thing about God is that, eventually when people treat us like that, we're going to give up on them. But hey, dude, don't call me anymore. Leave me alone. I'm out. But no matter how many times we do that, no matter how many times we call God to get us unstuck, and then leave him again and call him to get us unstuck, and then he still comes back. But that's not the relationship with Christ that we should strive for. That's not the relationship with Christ we want. We shouldn't want that spare tire Christianity. We should want Jesus to be the steering wheel, the gas pedal, the brake, the GPS, the everything about it. We should, kind of like Pastor Donnie talked earlier about submission, we should just submit the whole car to him, the whole everything, the map, the plans, the everything, and just give it all to him and let him have control and stop trying to do it our way. And last thing, kind of have for you guys tonight is, I can't blame God for not being there for me in my times of need, in my sadness, in my darkness, in my valley, when I didn't invite him. It's my fault because when I walked out on him, I blocked God, so I can't blame God for not being in the place he wasn't invited. He wasn't welcomed. I have to own up to the fact that I left God out. I have to blame me, not God. But the beauty is that the second that I realize that and I call out to him, he comes running back to us. He meets us right where we are. He pulls us out. He cleans us up. He heals us. No matter how poorly we treated him, he still comes running at the moment that we call him. No matter how many times we walk away, he's still there. And I just hope that and pray that we would reach a point where we're not just in a relationship with God that's, only there when it's convenient for us or only there when we need him, but it's a true love and a true passion and a true desire just to know him more. A desire to know the giver, not just to feel the gifts. And hope and pray that we all kind of, that we all get closer to that relationship with Him. Um, Couple quick tidbits of information for you guys before we close out tonight. I know we were initially gonna kind of looking at starting back youth on that first Wednesday night in June next month. At this time, I don't think we're going to do that. I don't think that's the best direction and the best opportunity for us right now. Um, so stay tuned. You're going to be hearing from me, Donnie, and Zach soon, either Sunday or Wednesday. I'm not sure if we've nailed down a day yet. I think next Wednesday, you'll actually be hearing from the three of us on kind of what we're doing going forward with that. So stay tuned. We are going to let you know. We're just trying to make sure that we do everything the best we can to not, yes, keep everyone safe and be cautious of COVID-19, but also do everything in a way that we can best, provide for you guys, both in that sense and to be there for you spiritually and actually, produce a good product for you. Um, with that being said, I guess we'll close out in prayer and then, yeah. God, we thank you for tonight, and I thank you for everybody that tuned in and listened to this, and I pray that somewhere amongst my what feels like rambling sometimes, that somewhere through that you would speak to someone, God, that somewhere between something that I said and what they heard, God, that you would just take a hold of it and that you would just make it be light and revelation to them. And God, and I pray that we would all deepen our faith and we would all further and strengthen our walk with you, and that we would depend on you to be more than just a spare tire in our relationship, but God, that we would give you control to be the steering wheel, to be everything. God, and I pray that we would all grow deeper with you in that sense. And I pray for safety and protection and blessings upon everyone that's listening to this, God. And we just thank you for all that you've given us. And in Jesus' name.